For many people, Michael Jackson was one of those people who we grew up with, people of a certain age. We remember listening to his music as a child. I had four brothers, and we pretended to be the Jackson Five, like many kids in that area. They were one of the first American heroes, a group of African-American young men who were clean-cut. They were known throughout the entire world, and as a result of that, they had quite a legacy as young people. Of course, for people who are relatively young today, most of what we know about Michael Jackson are some of the more bizarre things, the child molestation allegations, the idea that he was sleeping around with kids and buying the bones of the Elephant Man and so forth. But for those of us who were growing up during their heyday, the Jackson Five were it. I mean, they were the people who you aspired to be. But when he became a solo star, that is when his star really began to rise. In the early 1980s, he released the album Off the Wall, which was a mega hit. It turned out not to win a Grammy that year, and that upset Michael Jackson from people who were very close to him, including Quincy Jones, who was one of his producers. He said at the time that Michael Jackson set out to do something even bigger and better, and that he did when he released Thriller, which to this date is one of the best, if not the best-selling album of all time. There's probably not a recording artist alive today that does not owe something to Michael Jackson. Every time you see someone like Chris Brown before he got into his troubles, people were comparing him to Michael Jackson. Every male star that came along, people said this could be the next Michael Jackson. I think, unfortunately, his passing will turn out to be a situation where his musical legacy, especially that which kind of had gone on from the early part of his career, will tend to come to the fore, and as a result of that, people will really start to look closely at Michael Jackson's musical legacy rather than the legacy of strangeness, if we can call it that, that sort of had persisted in the last decade and a half.